After failing to conquer Ethan Hayes, I gave birth to a child. Then I returned to the original world. 5 years later, due to staff shortages at the Mission Bureau, I was rehired. This time a redemption system bound itself to me. It brought me before a little boy and asked me to hold him. Looking at this quiet little bean, I casually added his father's contact information. Soon a familiar voice popped out from the chat box. Hello, are you the new nanny? Oh my god, this person is Ethan Hayes. The next moment Aiden directly snatched the phone away. He shouted righteously, Dad, stop dating Miss Xiao, I'll introduce you to pretty sisters. The first time I met Aiden, he happened to be having an autism episode, huddled in the corner of the room, refusing to drink, eat, or sleep. Refusing to speak to anyone, not even letting grandma come near. The system's heart melted completely, relentlessly urging me. Host, go hug him. Already the redemption target is so pitiful. His mother left when he was born, and his father is a workaholic who doesn't have much time to take care of him. Could you try spending some time with him? Though the words sounded kind. But this little boy named Aiden wasn't someone I could just approach so easily. From what I gathered in the information packet, Aiden is 6 years old, has mild autism and Asperger's syndrome, and doesn't like socializing. Extremely shy with strangers, introverted, withdrawn, aloof, and timid. At home, she usually only exchanged a word or two with her father and grandmother on rare occasions. But now I'm just a caregiver freshly deployed by the system. Though my duty is to care for Aiden, he doesn't know me, yet how could he possibly accept my touch? The system was still urging me go try to comfort him now. We've tested in advance, you're absolutely the most compatible redeemer for him among all mission takers, don't worry. Really, I looked around. Mrs. Hayes sat in her wheelchair frowning while the family doctor was on the phone. Everyone seemed at a loss. I had no choice but to steel myself and step forward, reaching out my hand to Aiden. I asked him softly, are you hungry? The next moment something happened that shocked everyone. The little boy, who had been motionless, very slowly raised his head. He blinked his moist eyes and stared at me without blinking. After a long pause, he stammered out a single word, hungry. I froze for a moment, then asked, do you want something to eat? He swallowed hard. Yes, he said, wanting to take you there. Aiden stretched out his arms, grabbed my sleeve, and threw himself into my embrace. Hold me, he pleaded. Aiden wants a hug. 2. The newly wealthy Hayes family was looking for a nanny for their young master. In less than a month, 8 applicants had already been rejected, and I seemed to be so far the only one besides family members who could get close to Aiden. After that incident, Mrs. Hayes invited me into her study. She directly prepaid 6 months' worth into my bank account, looking at me with genuine warmth in her eyes. She spoke without the slightest air of superiority that wealthy people often have. Miss Neal, as you can see, Aiden has some health issues, so taking care of him might require a bit more attention. I'm getting old and find it hard to manage everything thoroughly, but rest assured we'll pay you 3 times the market rate. You on TV treated unfairly. I could tell the old madam really wanted me to take this job. But actually I would have stayed even without her mentioning those conditions. Not just because of the system, I don't know why. The moment I saw that boy named Aiden, I suddenly felt a strange sense of familiarity. Holding him in my arms felt like returning to that world from my last mission. I finally held my newborn child in my arms. 3. Yes, actually I once had a child of my own. It was with the target Ethan Hayes. It seemed like a smooth and simple mission at first. I met Ethan Hayes, who was still an entrepreneur at the time, at a banquet. On the first day we met, he fell in love with me at first sight. The system told me his heartbeat was racing wildly. With just one glance, the conquest value reached 60. This was exceptionally high compared to all previous conquest missions. Later we naturally held hands, dated, and fell in love. We even got married. Shortly after the wedding, I found out I was pregnant. That day the system showed the conquest value suddenly jumping above 95. Ethan was overjoyed. During that period, his startup company was actually facing significant problems. Framed by someone, it was possibly on the verge of bankruptcy. To solve these issues, he hadn't slept well for several days. Yet despite this, he kept shuttling back and forth between the company and home. Whenever he had a spare moment, he rushed over to cook, personally learning about nutritious meals and early childhood education. Even when he genuinely couldn't spare the time, we still video called or spoke on the phone almost every day. During my maternity period, slowly, the completion rate of the mission rose from 90 to 99. Just one more step, and I could stay in this world forever. Just when I thought nothing could possibly go wrong anymore, the system, which hadn't contacted me for a long time, suddenly reached out. It spoke in its usual cold, aloof tone. It told me an unacceptable message. It said, I couldn't stay here, so there had been a bug when they initially searched for the target character. Ethan Hayes wasn't some side character without a storyline. He was the male lead of this novel. He had his own destined heroine, the girl with whom he was supposed to spend his entire life happily ever after. My appearance shattered all of that. The system delivered its final notice to me as casually as if it were mentioning some trivial matter. Deepest apologies, host, but we will compensate you. You must now reject Ethan Hayes and actively lower your conquest points. You can keep the child, but you yourself must be sent back to your original world. Can I refuse when faced with the system's demands? It seems task executors have no choice. If I stubbornly resist, I'll simply be erased. I still remember that day when I had to leave. I had just given birth. It was a boy. ID only held him a few times. Later the hospital said the baby wasn't doing well and was transferred to the neonatal intensive care unit. Ethan was away negotiating an important business deal at the time. He didn't return until the next day, when he pushed open the hospital room door and saw me. His eyes immediately lit up. Though his face was full of exhaustion, he couldn't hide his excitement. He strode towards me and grabbed my hand in an instant. He kept showering kisses, his voice trembling. Zoe, we have a child. Now, we were going to be parents. From now on, let us stay together for a lifetime, raise our baby well, and grow old together. Okay, his cheeks were flushed through his shirt. I could clearly feel his heartbeat. Like drumbeats, thump, 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 the conquest index began fluctuating wildly, hovering at 99 with frantic tremors, as if it might leap to 100 at any moment. The system's words seemed to echo in my ears again. Reject him, leave him, abandon him, otherwise we'll reset this storyline and erase all traces of your existence. I blinked hard, clenched my fist tightly beneath the covers, then abruptly raised my head. Looking straight at Ethan. No, Ethan, Hayes, I want a divorce. From what I've heard, your company is having cash flow problems and might go bankrupt soon. You know I hate suffering the most. I want to be walking this path with you anymore. 5-1 to be walking with you anymore, Ethan. After all, we were never from the same world to begin with. That day, it was the first time I saw Ethan cry so hard. A man who had always been proud and composed, who conducted himself with restraint, lost his composure in front of me. His fingers trembled, his whole being on the verge of shattering. Zoe, no divorce, no divorce. Let us not get divorced, okay? I'm working hard to resolve the company issues. They'll be settled soon. It won't affect our future life together. Think about our baby. He has just been born. How can he grow up without a mother? Tears fell in large drops onto the back of my hand. Like concentrated acid, they began to spread and corrode from the surface of my skin, until they reached my heart, producing a sour, unbearable ache. I blinked my eyes and took a deep breath, mustering all my strength to pull my fingers away. Then she pushed him away. You keep the child. Ethan, just pretend I've fallen for someone else. Someone richer, better, more impressive than you. Will that do? The room was terrifyingly quiet. He raised his head and looked at me with bloodshot eyes. I heard the sound of the favorability score stabilizing. It no longer fluctuated wildly toward 100. I thought it would soon start declining continuously, perhaps even dropping into negative numbers. The next moment, Ethan's slightly hoarse voice reached my ears. Fine, he said, then let us get divorced. 6 years after returning to my original world, I never heard from Ethan Hayes again. But I did learn his true storyline from the system. After I left, a wealthy young lady from a good family would appear by his side. She would join forces with her family's company to help him overcome the difficulties he was facing. She was the real savior, accompanying him, encouraging him, comforting him. In the end, he spent his life with someone else, and that's perfectly fine. He would gradually forget me, then embark on a brand new life. As for me, I lived my own ordinary life day by day, going to work every day, handling projects, reporting progress, and outwitting my boss. This kind of life lasted for 5 years until another different system bound me again and dragged me back. It brought me before this child named Aiden 7. Aiden was very clingy to me. I didn't know the reason either. But when he was with me, he didn't seem to be that introverted, autistic, or sensitive. Early the next morning, I was helping the chef prepare a few breakfast dishes in the kitchen. Aiden came over and tugged at my sleeve. Sister, come here. Let me show you the problems I solved. Strictly speaking, I could have been old enough to be his mother. But whether due to social customs or etiquette, Aiden insisted on calling me pretty sister. He pulled me along as we walked to his small desk. Spread across it were some brightly colored booklets, each bearing words like equations, geometry, algebra. He is still so young. Has he already started learning such things? Thoughts about Asperger's surfaced in my mind. Perhaps it was innate. He had a natural talent for things like numbers, theorems, and formulaic deductions. God closed one door for him, but would surely open another window. For no reason, I suddenly thought of Ethan, though I didn't know why. He was the same perfect SAT score, one of the state's top scorers, a computer science major, the university's renowned STEM prodigy. He displayed extraordinary mathematical talent from a very young age. Thinking this, I glanced at Aiden again. I wasn't sure if it was just my imagination. I noticed he bore a slight resemblance to Ethan. Almost unconsciously, I casually asked Aiden, what does your father do for a living? What's his name? Can I know? Aiden was solving an equation. Hearing the voice, he blankly raised his head, then he shook it and squinted at me with a smile. Daddy owns a company. His name is. Aiden thought for a long while. He seemed to finally remember, letting out an Daddy's name is Karos. What a Greek name. Aiden didn't notice my expression. He leaned on my arm and continued telling me about his father. My daddy is very handsome. We've been abroad all these years and only recently returned to the country. Pretty sister, do you have a boyfriend? I'll introduce my dad to you. Really? How about it? I was stunned. I absent-mindedly ruffled Aiden's hair. Little cutie, what are you thinking about? Though it's true I don't have a boyfriend, but after the Ethan conquest incident, I've developed serious psychological trauma. Who knows what the system will be like? What if it's like last time, kicking me back to the original world without any warning? What then? I was just about to think of some tactful words to properly communicate with Aiden and dissuade him from his wild ideas. Suddenly I looked up and saw old Mrs. Hayes. She was leaning on her cane, descending the stairs step by slow step until she finally reached us, smiling warmly at Aiden and me. She picked up her phone and pushed a contact card over to me. Miss Neal, she said, I'm getting old and don't have much time left to look after Aiden. Add his father's contact and update him about the child's condition daily. On the other side, Aiden was still squeezing my fingers. He seemed quite happy as he urged pretty sister, hurry up and add daddy. All right then, soon enough. Aiden's father accepted my friend request. I had a feeling this was probably one of his work accounts. Doesn't he seem to be used very often? The WhatsApp username was just a single letter K. Probably stands for Keros. All the social media posts were business related too, either in meetings, negotiations, or on the road traveling to sign various contracts. A veritable money-making machine. The only posts unrelated to the company almost always featured a woman in her early 30s with wavy hair, tall and beautiful. Though this Mr. Hayes has never made an appearance on his own social media, but the girl in several videos mentioned him many times. Judging from her interactions with others, they must be quite familiar with each other. Come to think of it, it makes sense, a young, accomplished, and successful tech tycoon who is now single. If he wanted to date, there should be plenty of girls surrounding him, right? But this has nothing to do with me. I tapped my forehead. I pushed all these messy thoughts out of my head. I frowned, then instantly switched back to workaholic mode, typing earnestly in the dialog box, "Hello, Mr. Hayes, I'm the new nanny. Aiden has been doing well these past few days, eating normally, resting, and reading. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Shall I send you some photos of him for you to see?" I selected a few short videos for my album showing Aiden happily playing during the day and quickly sent them over. It wasn't until the early hours of the morning, several hours later, that my phone finally buzzed with a reply. Okay, Mr. Hayes seemed like a rather aloof person. After a few days of interaction, I felt I'd roughly figured out his personality. Our daily conversations followed a predictable pattern. I'd tell him what Aiden had done each day. I'd send photos and videos. He'd reply with just a single okay in the early morning hours. This is actually quite nice. I prefer bosses who are low maintenance, straightforward, and easy to communicate with. They're so much better than clients who nitpick minor flaws and make you revise a proposal 800 times without ever approving it. It's just that Aiden seems overly concerned about the progress between me and his dad. Every mealtime, he latches onto me, chattering nonstop about what we've been discussing on WhatsApp. Did he say he'd take you out to dinner? A man pursuing a girl shouldn't be so stingy. I need to tell him something, have him bring you a gift when he comes back. I pursed my lips and quickly scooped 2 spoonfuls of scrambled eggs into Aiden's mouth. Old Mrs. Hayes was flipping through a magazine nearby. Hearing the noise, she looked up. She joined the conversation with a smile. Does Aiden like Aunt Neil? What about Miss Zhao? She's pretty too. She even went to Europe with your dad this time. Don't you like her? The air seemed to grow still for a moment. Aiden stared at his fingers for a long while. He shook his head firmly. No, Aiden doesn't like her, and she doesn't like Aiden either. She's only nice to Aiden when she's with dad. Usually she's mean and speaks harshly. I'm going to call dad. Tell him to come home early and stop being with that Miss Zhao. 11. Aiden really made such a phone call to his father during my absence from him. It was also because of this incident that I and Mr. Hayes finally had their most extensive WhatsApp conversation to date. He must have been in a terrible mood that day after I reported Aiden's daily activities to him. Rarely, he didn't wait until midnight to reply with a pleasant message. Instead, he bombarded me with one stern sentence after another. The tone between the lines was severe and sharp. Was it you who told Aiden to make that phone call to me today? Miss Neil, Aiden is just a child. You'd better not teach him to say strange things. Focus your mind on the right things. Don't be too eager to stand out as if to testify. He sent over an audio file, a recording of his phone call with Aiden. Upon playing it, Aiden's clear, youthful voice soon came through. Daddy, are you still on a business trip with Aunt Zhao? When are you coming home? I told you I'd introduce you to a pretty sister. Don't you dare forget. And bring her a gift too. The call was rather noisy. Judging from the recording, Mr. Hayes seemed to be at a banquet or someplace like a bar. The background was bustling. It drowned out his original voice. He seemed to have had some alcohol, his voice heavy and low, sounding quite unhappy when speaking to Aiden. Aiden Hayes, who taught you to say such things? Was it your nanny? If she keeps putting nonsense ideas in your head and making you come to me with this drivel, I won't hesitate to reconsider her employment contract. In the phone recording, Aiden suddenly cried out, no. You can't, I just think she feels like mom. You're not allowed to drive her away. The recorded call fell silent for a moment. After a long pause, a sigh filled with resentment finally came through. It was Kay speaking through gritted teeth, word by word. Aiden Hayes, remember this, you only have one mother. Only one person forever. Understand? The recording abruptly ended here at the 12-second mark. On the other end of the phone, Mr. Hayes seemed to have grown weary. He coldly sent over a message like, you resemble her. Too many people imitate her. Loves red roses, adores Yorkshire Terriers, hates summer. Even shares the surname Neil. Miss Neil, I'd advise you to direct your thoughts elsewhere. Otherwise, digging your own grave wouldn't be amusing. 13. I enjoy sharing my life, so I have a habit of posting on social media regularly. After returning to this system world for easier communication, I registered a new social media account and post snippets of my daily life on it almost every day. There aren't too many people I know on there anyway, so I never thought about blocking anyone. So it never crossed my mind that my boss would see it, but saying I'm imitating Aiden's mom, good grief. I have no idea what Aiden's mother even looks like. I frowned, feeling utterly wronged. I love roses, flower arranging puppies. I was just sharing things I like on my social media. I never intended to imitate anyone. How dare they say that about me? The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Unable to sleep at midnight, I picked up my phone and typed out a reply word by word. Cutting ties decisively. Mr. Hayes, there's no need to direct your anger at me. I neither know you nor your ex-wife. Rest assured, I have absolutely no interest in imitating a woman I've never met, nor could I possibly entertain even the slightest other thoughts about you. I think this statement is already quite straightforward. Woke up the next day, found a brief reply had arrived on my phone. That's good, then hope we won't argue over such things again after I return from my business trip. About 10 minutes later, he sent another inexplicable message. After all, I hate her. I don't want to see anything that resembles her. 14 hate, perhaps many say it was his ex-wife who left him during his most difficult time. She didn't even keep the child, yet, for some reason whenever he mentioned her. Within that hatred there seemed to linger traces of pain, restraint, and unwillingness. It even sparked curiosity, making one wonder what exactly had transpired between them. But even Aiden's grandmother appeared to know little about the specifics. She burst out laughing when I mentioned the WhatsApp conversation with Mr. Hayes. Her eyes crinkled as she looked at me. Really, he said that. Can't blame him for thinking that way. Ever since the divorce, there have been quite a few women chasing after him. No worries, he has coming back next Sunday, just keep your distance from him then. 15 next Sunday, the last day of the month. Looking back, now the day Kairos returned from Europe seemed like just an ordinary day. I was trimming roses in the greenhouse. Aiden and Mrs. Hayes were flipping through books in the living room. As I came out from the second floor with an armful of freshly cut flowers, I suddenly heard the screech of brakes from below. Then came Aiden's scream, "Dad, Daddy. Daddy, you're back." I peered down through the stairway gap. Faintly I saw a man in a black suit walking in. He reached out and picked up Aiden. The boy's constantly wriggling body obscured his face. I could only hear his voice. "I brought you a gift, wanna see it? Come over and unwrap it yourself." The voice was low and crisp. Unlike in the recording, it carried a faintly familiar quality. But before I could think it through, Aiden started shouting again. He reached out to grab the gift box while furrowing his brows. "That's not right, Dad. No, what about the pretty sister? Didn't I tell you to bring her a gift? Why didn't you buy one? A man shouldn't be so stingy." Oh my, how come Aiden hasn't given up on this matchmaking idea yet? What nonsense are you talking about again? I clattered down the stairs, eager to explain immediately. Kay had his back to me. He set Aiden down on the ground and gently ruffled his hair. His tone softened. "Because Daddy doesn't like her. This pretty sister doesn't like Daddy either. If you don't believe me, Aiden can go ask her himself. Love requires mutual affection. When Aiden grows up, he'll understand this truth." A very gentle tone, much gentler than when speaking to me. But why does this voice sound so familiar? In an instant I barely had time to think. Only instinct made me call out that name. Ethan Hayes. The next moment the man turned around. Our gazes collided. In that glance he abruptly stood up, his entire body swaying as if struck by something. Her hands clenched tightly together, her voice trembling. "Zoe Neal, you're back." 16 During these more than 2 weeks spent with Aiden, in truth there had been countless moments when I faintly sensed traces of something amiss. But it was too coincidental. How could it be such a coincidence? The Mission Bureau has countless systems, yet by sheer chance I was deployed back to this very same world. Still by Ethan's side, Aiden didn't notice the strange atmosphere between us. With his little short legs he came fluttering toward me. He threw himself into my arms in an instant, shaking his little head and nuzzling softly against my neck. At that moment it was as if he had finally found something long lost. My heart is overflowing. So Aiden is actually my child. That child I only held a few times 5 years ago. No wonder he was willing to get close to me the first time we met. No wonder I inexplicably felt this special attachment toward him. Even after 5 years apart, the bond between us remains unbroken. At this thought I could no longer hold back. Tears streamed down my cheeks like broken strings. They fell onto Aiden's eyelashes. He quickly sensed something was wrong. Rubbing his eyes, he lifted his little head. When she saw my tearful expression, she froze for a moment. Then she started crying along with me, shouting in my direction. "Big sister Zoe, why did I say something wrong again just now? You don't like Daddy, right? I'll never speak carelessly in front of you two again." The next moment Ethan's furious voice rang in her ears. "Aiden Hayes, shut the hell up." 5 years had passed since they last met, and Ethan looked much thinner than before. He was no longer that greenhorn who racked his brains over securing an investment. His entire demeanor appeared somber, looking much more mature and resolute now. Compared to interacting with him, Aiden clearly seemed to prefer me more. While continuing to mumble "pretty sister," he kept inching closer toward me. Seeing this, Ethan's expression darkened further. "Sister? What sister? Who taught you to call me that? You're not allowed to call me sister anymore. It messes up the family hierarchy." He grabbed Aiden in one swift motion, cradled him in his arms, and carried him upstairs to the bedroom. It was already 1:30, right around Aiden's usual nap time. I trailed behind, watching the little one thrash and protest in his father's arms. "Daddy, you're acting so weird. You look so grumpy today. You scared Aunt Zoe into crying and you're still being so rough. You don't care about her at all. Put me down, I want to see, comfort her." Whatever else was said afterward, I didn't catch it. Mrs. Hayes happened to be descending from the 3rd floor. She blinked, her gaze lingering between Ethan and me for a moment. Then she took Aiden's hand and led him to the bedroom for his nap, leaving only Ethan and me alone in the narrow hallway. He looked at me, his expression somber. The air grew still. For a long moment neither of us spoke until Ethan suddenly reached out as if to wipe the tear stains from my face. Yet his hand stopped abruptly, just before touching my cheek. "Zoe," he said, "why did you come back?" Ethan hated me. I remembered what he said during our conversation. Indeed, after all, from Ethan's perspective during his toughest and lowest moments, I was the one who walked away without looking back. And now, just as he has finally begun a new life, I suddenly reappear. Anyone who could accept that Ethan stands a full head taller than me. He looked down at me, and seeing me speechless, the air around him grew even heavier. She exuded an air of melancholy and oppression. 5 years, he said, "Don't you ever dream about the past?" He stepped closer to me, staring intently with bloodshot eyes. "Zoe," he uttered, "I don't care why. but this time you sign a contract. If you leave again, I'll make sure you're bankrupt. 19. How did things end up like this, host? So the mother of the person you're supposed to save is actually you. No wonder this script felt so weird. This is clearly a mess left by the previous system, and now I have to clean it up. I can't believe I'm stuck dealing with its mistakes. After learning the whole story, the redemption system bound to me was utterly dumbfounded. It was as if some switch had been flipped. The usually emotionally stable system began ranting frantically to me about its unreliable colleagues at their workplace. That mission system that was bound to you last time was truly infuriating. Even when you were on the verge of completing your mission, it actually forcibly repatriated you. It seems like they don't care at all about the mental stability of characters across the entire timeline. It's fine. Coincidentally, there's an inspection from higher-ups during this period. I've already written up a situation report and am preparing to file a complaint against it. You can actually file complaints, but that is genuinely a good thing. I've long disliked that previous system. If it hadn't pulled such a stunt, would I have been separated from my own child for 5 years? Report them all. The newly assigned second system actually sympathizes with me. Perhaps having done too many redemption missions, it's naturally more empathetic than those conquest-oriented systems. Its whimpering voice lingers in my ears, repeatedly comforting me. You're really pitiful, host. I've noticed Aiden's condition has improved significantly since being with you. At this rate, the mission will be completed soon. When the time comes, would you like to stay? Initially, the redemption system didn't give me this option, probably thinking I wouldn't stay here for long, so I must be going home. But now knowing all this, it said, would you like to make a different choice, host? Actually, I didn't have any family or friends left in my original world. Just a somewhat boring job arguing with the boss and clients day after day. Ethan asked me if I ever dreamt of the past. How could I not? So many times I've woken up in the dead of night dreaming that there was no damn system recall. Everything was progressing step by step, moving in a good direction. I covered my face and nodded gently. I said I want to try to stay. Not for any other reason, but as a mother, I wanted to see how Aiden would grow up. 20 worried that Aiden might not accept it too quickly, Ethan, and I agreed not to tell him I was his mother just yet. We would continue interacting as before, waiting for the right moment to reveal everything. The next day at noon, I went downstairs as usual to prepare the books Aiden normally read. A sudden ah-woo scream came from beside my ear. Aiden ran over to the sofa and hugged a pink and blue box with a thud. He came trotting over excitedly. Such a pretty gift. He grabbed my sleeve and lifted it toward me. Come on, Zoe Gia. Come see, is this for you? It was a package that had just arrived. The butler had unwrapped it upon bringing it in, revealing the brand label inside. A very famous luxury brand for young women's fashion. Specializing in private custom orders, the price of a single dress could reach hundreds of thousands of dollars. I frowned, although I was the only woman of similar age in the manor. But I didn't know anyone in this world, so it couldn't possibly be for me. Especially at this price, then it must have been bought by Ethan. A person abruptly popped into my mind, the only woman who had ever appeared in his social media photos, that wealthy young lady surnamed Xiao. She was also the true female lead mentioned in the original strategy guide system, the one who had stayed by Ethan's side these past 5 years. Thinking of this, I gently squeezed Aiden's palm and took the gift from him. Placing it on the table, I shook my head to comfort him. This isn't tea for me. I'm not the right person for it. The sound of hurried footsteps came from the stairs. Ethan looked down at her. Didn't you used to love this brand? Why doesn't it suit you anymore? He coughed twice, his gaze awkwardly darting to the side. Don't overthink it, Aiden insisted. I prepare a gift for you. If it weren't for fear of him pestering me endlessly, I wouldn't have bothered having it delivered. Ethan seems to have forgotten what he said to Aiden yesterday. Even the usually oblivious little guy was momentarily stunned. He looked at me, then at his dad, and incredulously tapped his own head. In the end, I didn't wear that dress, Ethan said. I used to like that brand. I do like it, but only in magazines. I looked up the style online. It was just showcased by a famous supermodel on the runway, one of a kind, priceless, and unavailable. The hand-sewn diamond fragments alone are worth a fortune. It's simply too expensive. Besides, I don't even have any occasion to wear such a gown. But I never expected that this dress would attract an uninvited guest. Evelyn Shaw, that wealthy heiress from the Shaw family. It had been nearly a month since Ethan and I discovered each other's identities. During this time, our interactions had been awkward, but we managed to coexist peacefully. She came looking for us just as Ethan had taken the child for a medical checkup. I searched online for some schools suitable for Aiden to attend. His condition is improving steadily, and he is now gradually adapting to social situations. I had just shortlisted a few options and was about to make some calls when suddenly the rapid click-clack of high heels echoed from the manor's entrance. Was that Paris summer collection piece bought by Ethan Hayes? TSK, I want one too. He has been holed up at home every day lately. Who on earth has caught his eye? Let us have a look. 222. The butler urgently tried to stop her. But it was utterly futile. I stepped out of the study just in time to see her arguing with the manor's servants. To be fair, Evelyn Shaw was quite beautiful. Loose waves, bright red lips, and eyes that sparkle with every glance. She raised her hand slightly and scoffed disdainfully. What is there to stop me? I just want to know who that old fossil Ethan has fallen for. It's not like I'm going to kill her. What is there something too shameful to show? In the original storyline, the system had once told me. It said that Ethan truly loved his destined female lead. Anyone or anything that targeted or hindered the female lead, he would eliminate without hesitation. And with those words, it threatened me. Do you really want to see the person you like hurt you for someone else? Give up voluntarily, host, otherwise by the end you won't even recognize yourself anymore. I feared that kind of outcome, so I chose to leave instead. At the thought of this, my brows furrowed. I immediately went upstairs to retrieve that box from the room. Fortunately, I had never opened it or tried it. It remained brand new and intact. As I came clattering down the stairs with my arms full, Evelyn had just about finished arguing with the butler and servants. Hearing the noise, she naturally turned her gaze toward me. Her eyes landed on me, and her expression seemed to freeze in place. Her lips parted slightly into an O shape, so beautiful. Damn, no wonder he, the world's male lead Ethan Hayes, is really lucky. Why doesn't he this kind of luck fall on me? My hand froze mid-air as I handed over the box. The male lead Evelyn Shaw knows about the male lead too. Is she also a mission executor? Evelyn seemed to notice the confusion in my eyes. She blinked her eyes and smiled faintly. Sis, are you trying to say I'm the female lead? But I don't like the male lead, she continued. I don't believe in plotlines or fate. At 23, Evelyn told me the story from another perspective. The day she learned she was the female lead, she was just leaving home. Just as she was about to get in the car, an unleashed dog who knows whose it was charged straight into her and knocked her over. The impact jolted her awake. A voice echoed in her mind, speaking to her. It told her she was the heroine of a redemption novel destined to save the male lead from the abyss after he was abandoned by his white moonlight. Then she was to accompany him as he built his empire, fall in love, and marry him. Evelyn was utterly stunned, because she was already in a stable relationship at the time. How could she possibly fall for someone else? That just messing around. But her curiosity got the better of her, and she took a look at this man named Ethan Hayes. His company was at its lowest point back then, and he was completely worn out. Feeling suicidal at any moment, the buzzing voice in her head persisted like a curse, hypnotizing her. This is a future billionaire. We're talking about his company's stock is at $3 now. In the future, you won't even be able to buy it at 80. Evelyn's eyes widened from 3 to 80. How many times over is that? Invest. I'm putting money into this. Absolutely must invest. Though, I'm not interested in this person. I am interested in making money. Evelyn ran her fingers over her nails, her alluring eyes sweeping over me. So big sister, pretty clever, right? Your husband is really amazing. He helped me earn a huge sum of money. She reached out and lightly took my wrist, making an exaggerated gesture. I don't know why, but when she gave me that look, I actually felt my face grow warm. I cleared my throat. He asked my ex-husband now, so you didn't follow the script. Evelyn chuckled softly. I have a girlfriend now. If she found out I'd fallen for someone else, she'd definitely kill me. Girlfriend, what's going on? The next moment, Ethan returned from the hospital with Aiden. He held Aiden's hand standing at the Manor's entrance. The moment he saw Evelyn, his brows furrowed deeply. He strode over with a sharp motion. He slapped her hand away from mine. What are you doing here? If you have something to say, just say it. Why get physical? 24. Ethan's expression darkened. He stepped in front of me, positioning himself between me and Evelyn. Didn't you already get your share of the profits? What business do you have coming to talk to Zoe? Evelyn rolled her eyes so hard they nearly disappeared into the back of her head. She gritted her teeth, letting out a cold laugh through clenched lips. Her tone carried a hint of disdain. Ethan Hayes, is this how you normally talk to Zoe? As someone who has been through dozens of relationships, I advise you to recognize your true feelings sooner rather than later and adjust your attitude. Don't wait until the second person runs away before realizing it's too late to salvage the situation. Ethan's expression darkened instantly. He clenched his fists, almost word by word. What do you mean? Evelyn didn't respond. She took out her phone and began scrolling through her contacts. What do I mean? If you don't know how to cherish such a wonderful sister, I've got plenty of people here who would. The Johnson family's second son mentioned wanting a business marriage alliance the other day. The Williams family's young master just went through a breakup, and this youngest son of the Smith family is quite handsome too, with youth as his advantage. Sister, what do you think? If you don't like businessmen, I've got even wider connections in the entertainment industry. Interested in idol celebrities, these newly debuted actors recently. Should I introduce you? Sister, add my contact. I'll send you their photos tonight, so you can take your time choosing. Evelyn shoved her phone right in front of my face before I could even see it clearly. She was promptly dragged away as Ethan signaled the security guards. Hurry up, get her an Uber right now. He ordered, send her back to the Shao residence immediately. From now on, she asks not to set foot in this manor again without my permission. 25. Evelyn probably didn't like children. When she left, she glared fiercely at Aiden. But this time Aiden didn't hide in fear. Nor did he cry or throw a tantrum. Instead, he obediently sat quietly to the side. I don't know what the doctor said, but he must have improved so much compared to when I first met him. I wanted to have a good talk with Ethan unexpectedly by evening. He came looking for me first. At the time I was chatting with Mrs. Hayes in the study, and when I came out, Ethan was standing on the balcony. He finished smoking a cigarette with his head lowered, then walked up to me. His gaze flickered to the side. He took a deep breath and explained to me. I didn't expect Evelyn to come today. 5 years ago, I almost went bankrupt. The Shao family invested a lot of money in my company. They're my benefactors. But this is limited to a business partnership. Beyond work matters, we hardly have any contact. Ethan paused, suddenly reaching up to scratch the tip of his nose. He coughed twice, appearing somewhat embarrassed. Though we don't interact much since we move in the same circles, I've heard some rumors. She's not a decent person, and the people she knows aren't reliable either. You didn't get her contact info, did you? You're alone now. If you want to find another partner, it's better to know their background well. After all, you have a child now. It would be troublesome if you got scammed. Tell me, really? I looked up at him, somewhat puzzled. Is Ethan trying to set me up too? I let out an awkward sound. Do you have someone suitable in mind? He nodded and pointed at himself. Zoe, come back. The doctor said Aiden's adaptability and mental state have improved significantly now. Shall we tell him the truth, give him a complete family? 26. My gaze dropped. I couldn't deny it. I did like Ethan. I liked him since that mission long ago, but Ethan. I looked up at him and sighed softly. Is it just for the child's sake? If it's only for the child, then there's no need to force a reconciliation. After all, I left 5 years ago. You don't mind. The system has confidentiality clauses, although the second redemption system has already helped me submit a situation report to higher authorities. But before the official notice comes down, just to be safe, I should keep it hidden for a few more days. Ethan fell silent for a moment. Mine. Then he smiled self-deprecatingly. His eyes gradually reddened, as if finally relieved, revealing a desolate expression. How could I possibly mind, Zoe? I've waited for you for 5 years. Do you know how I've lived these past 5 years? I stopped caring long ago whether you left me because I was poor, because you fell for someone else, or for whatever other reason. I stopped caring long ago. His tears fell, dropping onto the back of his hand. As long as you can come back, it means I still have some worth, right? Zoe, I love you. I've always loved you. Do you even know that? No matter when you come back, I'll always be here. The wind blew across the balcony. It was such a beautiful, beautiful day. I tilted my head up, trying hard to hold back my tears. Then I hugged him tightly, so tightly. I know, Ethan, I'll never leave again. 27. Extra divorce, single dad. Many people believed that without the Shao family as help, Ethan Hayes might not have made it through. But Ethan knew it himself. What kept him alive wasn't that investment, but the child Zoe had left behind. At the moment he most wanted to die, he had already prepared the razor blade. The bathtub was filled with warm water. He put on the same clothes he wore when he first met Zoe and quietly lay down in it. Moonlight poured in. The night breeze swept through just as she was about to press the blade against her wrist. Suddenly the bathroom door was pushed open, and a small child with a milky voice stumbled in. He must have knocked something over in the kitchen, covered in a mess of colors and grime from head to toe. It smelled like a strange pungent mix of ketchup, salad dressing, soy sauce, and all sorts of odd things. The scent flooded Ethan's nostrils all at once. He was somewhat of a cleanliness freak. Seeing this scene instantly cleared his foggy mind. Frowning, he stood up from the bathtub and grabbed Aiden by the collar. Aiden Hayes, he gritted his teeth, struggling to maintain a gentle tone as he enunciated slowly, what are you up to now? The little one flapped his arms. Egg fried rice, daddy, make it. I'm hungry too. Aiden couldn't communicate normally with strangers. Before Ethan prepared to commit suicide, he wanted to entrust him to his own mother. At that time his mother was still recuperating in Florida, and hadn't he returned. He wasn't quite clear about the whole series of events surrounding his marriage and divorce. But gradually Ethan abandoned this idea. He realized that given Aiden's perpetually troublesome condition, it would be better not to trouble the elderly. In the end, he didn't succeed in committing suicide after standing up from the bathtub. He used the already drawn bathwater to give Aiden a thorough washing. Then she went to the kitchen and made him fried rice with eggs, feeding him bite by bite until he was full. Under the deep night sky, he watched his child in the lamplight, curled up alone in a corner of the room, big eyes, fluttering lashes, and a mouth that twisted this way and that when upset. After watching for a long while, he unconsciously reached out a hand. She pinched his cheeks and murmured softly, Aiden, do you miss your mom? The little one seemed not to understand, tilting his head slightly. Ethan smiled, softening his voice as he fed him another spoonful of rice. Your mom is really beautiful. She speaks gently, rarely gets angry, and smiles like a princess from a cartoon. Aiden, you only have one mother, don't forget her. Just a few very simple words, but Ethan never expected. Aiden truly took it to heart, then helped him find Zoe. The end.